There's, right, can we go here? Right at the back.
Yes, keep going.
Ah, you.
Hello, Tony.
Where are
Hello,
you?
Tony.
I can't see you.
I'm ugly. That's why I'm very ugly.
Oh, well, he's getting in your way, right, okay.
Why are politicians so naive? And this is why I'm putting this forward. The world that I live in has been governed by the British Empire. The British Empire that went into America and destroyed the Red Indians, or the people of colour. The ones that went into Africa and took out 300 million people, and are still doing that. Why is it naive to say there is a war in Iraq, and it shouldn't be, when there was sort of 20 million people killed in the Congo, 10 million in Mozambique and Angola, and your son is heading up the position that you're fighting against? What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to ask a question. Why is it that politicians of any hue are so naive to say, why is there a war in Iraq? Why is there a war in Afghanistan? And why is the light on and we complain when the sound goes down?
Well, I did say why wars occur. Imperialism is when powerful countries invade other countries to get the resources and a market for their goods. Now, the British Empire disappeared, and the interesting thing about the British Empire is all the people we locked up. We locked up Gandhi, we locked up Nehru, we locked up Mandela, we locked up Nkrumah, we locked up Cheddi Jagan. All the people we locked up, apart from the Irish, we locked up Jerry Adams. All the people we locked up ended up as head of Commonwealth countries. And when I'm in America, I will say all the people you say are terrorists will end up as your allies. Well, I'm not kidding. After all, Osama bin Laden was funded by Bush's father, the first President Bush, to get the Russians out of Afghanistan.
I'm talking about the ones you killed, not the ones that you put up there as heads of state. I'm talking about the 300 million people that were killed and people that are still being killed in Africa for diamonds and how come I never hear you talk about the deal?
Well, that is a product of it.
Talk about it tonight, Tony, because you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you better look at it. Many of the wars in Africa were caused by empires. If you look at the frontiers in Africa, they had no regard for tribal distinctions. In Paris, they drew lines and said, you can have this, we'll have that. And of course, the Congo was invaded because Belgium wanted the copper and all the other things you could get from the Congo. And many of the wars that have occurred are a byproduct of those wars. Now the American empire is now in decline. And the Chinese empire is coming up. And, well, of course it's coming up. Wave your hand at me, old friend. You're going to live in the Chinese empire.
China is the manufacturing center for America, Japan, this country. Get it right, Tony.
Not anymore.
Well, let him answer the question, please. You ask the question, and then interrupt them. All right, Tony. You want to continue?
Well, I'm in Africa, so I spent a year in Africa. All the people that I worked with in Africa were imprisoned by the British. I knew Kenyatta. I worked with him. Kenneth Kaunda was released from a British prison, came to see me in London, and when I last saw Kenneth Kaunda, he said to me, we had a big debt in Zambia, and the IMF came to me and said, we'll clear your debt if you'll sell all your schools and all your hospitals to American multinational companies. That's what it was about. And I mean, all I'm saying is you have to recognize that that is what it's about. Don't ask me to say I'm supporting it, quite the opposite. But that is what imperialism was about, and that's why I'm against imperialism.
Right, I'm moving on. Yeah. Isis, can we move on? Can we move on?
I was just repeating what I was saying about De Beers.
Okay. Oh, De Beers, yes, De Beers.
Of course, well,
these were what these big multinational corporations did. And today, in Africa, take Nigeria, for example, tons of money and tons of oil, and it's all corruptly run by the oil corporations who bribe the government. I mean, look at Saudi Arabia. They're very, very rich in oil. How much of it gets below the king to the people? Look at Venezuela, where Chavez has nationalized the oil and using the money to spend it on schools and hospitals. So I'm a Chavez man, if you know what I mean, and not a De Beers man. I hope that satisfies you.